term gain.
Bus operators who are not part of the National Bus Company today formally wrote to the Minister of Transportation requesting an increase in the bus fares or concessions either through the exemption of GST from the purchase of fuel, tires, and parts, or the provision of fuel subsidies by the government, which has been done before during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Last week, when asked about the impact of the sharp increase in diesel price, the Minister of Transport, Honorable Louis Zabané, said they did not expect the NBC would need to increase its fees. But what about the other operators? This was his response when asked if an increase in bus fares would be considered.
The construction of a shoreside docking facility in the Belize district, as you know, and as the leader of the opposition knows, is 25 years too late. It is time that we get it right, and it is time that we get this project done. The other day, the leader of the opposition stated in her presentation that we are operating in secrecy with regards to this port. That is not so, and I will outline what we've done. You know how this reached so far now for this project to be done? Because the Prime Minister led a delegation in 2023 to Miami to meet the cruise lines and to meet with FCCA, the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association. They were impressed by our team, and they said that we have given them the confidence that Belize is moving in the right direction. We've been meeting with all the strategic partners in cruise. In 2023, we acquired the Port of Belize. 2024, made legislation to provide fiscal incentives for this size of investment. In 2024-2025, work on the master plan. In 2025-2026, work on the ESIA. And I want to advise the public that tonight there will be public consultations on the ESIA. And I can assure you, there are some operatives who never want to create mischief because people really don't want a project to be done on the south side of Belize. What you can't get, you want to spoil. But in this situation, we can't call it blue conquest, because the blue side are red. We have to call it red conquest. Because my colleagues on the other side of the aisle could not get this very important project done, they will do everything and anything to disrupt its progress. But, Madam Speaker, we will not be deterred. This project is too important for Belize.
As to fuel subsidies, Zabané said the operators would have to file a request with the Ministry of Finance. The list of names selected by the World Meteorological Organization for the 2026 Atlantic Basin hurricane season has been published. There are 21 names on the list. These include Arthur, Bertha, Cristobal, Dolly, Eduardo, Faye, Gonzalo, Hannah, Isaias, Josephine, Kyle, Leah, Marco, Nana, Omar, Paulette, Renee, Sally, Teddy, Vicky, and Wilfred. Tropical storms are named once they reach 39 miles per hour. If any system is particularly devastating or costly in its impact, it is retired from the list of names. Most seasonal hurricane forecasts are normally released in April. The season begins on June 1 and continues for 6 months through to November 30.
Others decided not to be.
Belizean track athlete stars in Jamaica High School competition, and Senators Pitts nor Chris Koyi contributed to the budget debate. Stay with us.
Explore the great outdoors with Benny's quality and savings.
The Social Security Board's new whistleblower reporting system makes it easy and confidential to speak up by reporting misuse of the Social Security services and benefits, including fraud, misconduct, false claims, and more. If you know of any unethical or illegal activity relating to SSB benefits, claims, or personnel, go to ssbspeakup.integrityline.com or use our toll-free hotline 0800-SPEAK-UP, 0800-773-2587. This confidential reporting system is a way for you to report concerns or incidents privately without fear of reprisal. Your submission is confidential and anonymous. The Social Security Board is committed to providing a secure, confidential medium for whistleblowing that promotes organizational accountability and enhances public confidence in our services.
En Atlantic Bank, tu comodidad es nuestra prioridad. Nuestro centro de contacto está diseñado para mejorar tu experiencia bancaria. Con una amplia gama de opciones de servicio al cliente, ahorras tiempo y esfuerzo. Puedes llamar fácilmente para bloquear o desbloquear tus tarjetas de débito y crédito, realizar consultas de cuentas y acceder a información detallada de tus tarjetas. Ya sea que necesites asistencia con la banca en línea, apoyo para comercios o consultas generales, nuestro equipo está listo para ayudarte. Para mayor comodidad, si todos los operadores están ocupados, puedes dejar tu número y un operador te devolverá la llamada lo antes posible para asegurarse de que recibas el apoyo que necesitas. Para mayor seguridad, es posible que necesitemos verificar tu identidad con un conjunto de preguntas sencillas. Recuerda, Atlantic Bank nunca solicitará tu nombre de tu usuario ni contraseña de Atlantic Online por llamada telefónica, mensaje de texto o correo electrónico, asegurando que tu información personal permanezca segura y protegida. Nuestro equipo de apoyo está disponible de lunes a viernes, de 8 a.m. a 6 p.m., en inglés y en español. Simplemente marca al 223-1212. Esta es la línea dedicada para nuestro centro de contacto. Atlantic Bank se compromete a brindarte un servicio excepcional y las herramientas que necesitas para administrar tus finanzas de manera conveniente y segura. Aprovecha al máximo nuestro servicio del centro de contacto.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Smart for everybody. Smart leading everything. Smart give you everything. Smart offer everything. Smart give you everything. North to the east and the south and the west. Smart are the best. Darling, double up my data and give me all the text. In fact, give me a plan for my family. Unlimited calls, so me like it. And Smart make everybody feel happy. Bringing people together, me want it now. Smart got love for everybody. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. More bundles, data plan. Me want my smartphone, internet in my hand. Call me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Smart. Stay connected. Stay happy.
At Habet and Abet and Brothers Abet, we've always proudly celebrated Women's Month. This year, we celebrate women keeping the balance at home, at work, and in their communities. That's why all March long, all women receive 15% off store-wide, from paints to plumbing and everything in between. Plus, 20 to 65% off lots more deals on sale and clearance. With trusted experience, top quality products, and service that's second to none, we're here to support women every step of the way. Visit or call us today. Happy Women's Month from all of us at Habet and Abet and Brothers Abet, doing our part to balance the scales.
is an effort to catalog and digitize more than 30 years of Carol and Richard Foster's extraordinary wildlife footage, a visual record of Belize's wild heart that has been shared with the world through platforms like BBC and National Geographic. This exhibition brings that work to life through new short wildlife films that Carol has been working on over the past few months. Curated photographs that capture the iconic Foster perspective, and hundreds of archival recordings that are now being preserved and made accessible for the first time.
But while 501 is more than just an exhibition or a gallery of pretty pictures, it is a living, breathing archive. It is a monumental effort to catalog, digitize, and preserve a cinematic history that belongs to all of us. The Fosters didn't just come here to film Belize. They chose to be Belize. They made this wild landscape their home and their life's mission. As award-winning filmmakers for giants like the BBC and National Geographic, they acted as our global ambassadors.
I knew I had to do something, and I wanted to do something, and I was looking through all my slides and looking through all, and I've been doing this for like more than a year, trying to get everything in, from past to present to future. I know that was my intentions of giving back to Belize.
In a democracy, what is good for the government cannot be bad for the people. And what is good for the people cannot be bad for the government.
We came a long way. It's like over 16 years that it was basically like 2-3 houses in that area.
It was wild. One high bush like jungle. I want to take my lick. Say no water, no light. I tell her no worry about that. We have figured it out.
You know, you wonder how long it will take for this to happen.
A year ago, you were considered squatters.
We made a picado and we came in. I made a teenager. Everybody said it was swamp, it was swamp. When we get in here, it was like gold.
Today, you're landowners.
This that for we, and we proud of this. Now we are claiming our house on the land.
We have worked so hard to make this happen for us.
This is a beautiful day, folks, because we are taking care of the people who have taken care of us. Because we wouldn't be here today without you.
A time to reflect, revive, and renew. Your Belize City Council invites you to an unforgettable free 2-day Holy Week Revival concert. Backed by powerful demand, the return of award-winning songwriter and worship leader, Sinach. Live in concert, bringing healing, hope, and encouragement through worship. Join us Tuesday, March 31st, 2026 and Wednesday, April 1st, 2026 from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at DigiPark on Newtown Barracks. And that's not all. Joining us for the first time is award-winning Christian reggae band Christafari. Also featuring powerful performances from our local gospel ministries and more. Do not miss worship, Centro Visión Misionero, Kings Park Church of the Nazarene Worship Team, live music from Life Church, Heavenlies, Wabagari Dance Group, and Alexander Evans on steel pan. Special thanks to all our partners whose support helps make this revival possible. So, bring your entire family and experience this powerful 2-day Holy Week Revival concert in Belize City. Tuesday, March 31st and Wednesday, April 1st, 2026 at DigiPark on Newtown Barracks. Your Belize City Council, always about the people.
Belize is leveling up. We're moving from a bunch of IDs in endless forms to one secure, smart way to prove who you are. The National ID will give you your own unique number, a protected population register, and faster verification, so things actually get done quicker. It's built with privacy, transparency, and inclusion because this system is for everyone. Have something to say? Join the public consultation.
On Sunday, Belizean track star Norman Sutherland was one of the stars for Jamaica's St. Elizabeth Technical High School for the boys' Open 1600 sprint medley relay final. The team won the gold in a time of 3 minutes, 26.16 seconds. The competition was part of Jamaica's Inter-Secondary Schools Sports Association, ISA, Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championships. Sutherland, who is from Steadfast Dan Creek, is a St. Elizabeth Technical on an athlete scholarship. He competes in Jamaica in the Class 2 division for boys ages 15 to 16 years of age. Indignation on the part of the opposition inside the Senate on Friday led the 3 members to walk out of the National Assembly chambers towards the end of the debate on the 2026 to 2027 budget. The reason for the walkout was that Senator Sheena Pitts did not get to contribute to the debate as she was not in her chair when the president was calling on her. Notably, however, PUP Senator Christopher Coye passed on the opportunity to contribute to the budget debate, even though he was in the chambers. Here is the exchange between Senator Pitts and the President Carolyn Trench Sandiford when Leader of Government Business Senator Eamon Courtney had wrapped up the debate.
Honorable members, the question is that a bill for an act to appropriate certain sums of money for the use of the public service of Belize for the financial year ending March 31,
Madam President,
2027 be read a second time. All those in favor kindly say aye.
Madam President.
Those against kindly say no.
Madam President.
The ayes have it. Senator Pitts, I was concluding the budget debate. Do you have a point of order?
What I will say is this. Before we began the debate, Madam President came over this side to share how the debates would go, to indicate who speaks, who doesn't speak. At that time, I can say Madam President knew that I intended to speak. And my record in this Senate has always been to provide interventions. Now, it is rather unfortunate that my interruption to the House of Commons invited your good self to permit the closure of debates, knowing that I had every intention to contribute to the debate, but for being in the House of Commons. And I must say, Madam President, I am truly, truly disappointed in the discharge and conduct and how it resulted in your closing this debate, knowing by my record, by my indication today, that there is never a time I come here to not contribute to nation building.
Senator Sheena Pitts, respectfully, at the start of the debate, I did approach the bench and I indicated how I propose to proceed with the debate. Government side, Leader of Government Business, lead Senator for the opposition, and then from there I move to the independent bench and we alternate. I cannot anticipate that at the beginning of the debate you intended to speak, and when there is time to speak, you're not in your chair. I cannot hold and wait for that. So I turned to the right and I have to proceed with the debate.
In police news, a head-on road traffic accident early Saturday morning around 2:45 along the Philip Golson Highway near the Tabal Trade and Vocational Institute in Ladyville, Belize District left a man dead and 2 others injured. The deceased, who was driving a Ford Escape, was identified as 30-year-old Darnell Humes of Lord's Bank. The injured, who were traveling in a Ford Explorer, have been identified as Laura Budna and Eric Tillett. ASP Stacey Smith today provided an update in the investigation. Meanwhile, Belizean football player 17-year-old Marlon Meza Jr. has started a trial with European football club Sporting Braga out of Braga, Portugal. The trial runs from March to April 12. Meza has represented Belize in under 15, under 17, and under 20 competition, and recently joined the senior men's team, where his performances have been noticed by international football scouts. Of the opportunity, the Football Federation of Belize, FFB, stated, quote, "We are confident that Marlon will showcase his talent, dedication, and passion for the game. We wish him the very best during his trial," end quote. Police have arrested and charged 47-year-old Kisnet Kearney Pickart, a Belizean self-employed of the Placencia Peninsula, with the crime of murder in connection to the stabbing of 51-year-old Rolando Vinda Cespedes. Pickart is accused of stabbing Cespedes inside his residence on Thursday morning in Caribbean Way along the Placencia Road. Reports are that Cespedes, who was a farm manager with Fifes, was stabbed up to 29 times. ASP Stacey Smith said police believe both men knew each other, but have still not identified a motive.
Of the investigation into the murder of Rolando Vidas Cespedes that occurred on Thursday, 26 March 2026, police have formally arrested and charged 47-year-old Kisnet Kearney Pickart, a Belizean self-employed of Stan Creek District, for the crime of murder.
After the break, Santa Cruz young man fights off drunken man who pursued his young sister. Stay tuned.
El rotavirus es una de las principales causas de diarrea acuosa severa y vómitos en niños. Puede causar deshidratación severa y hospitalizaciones. La buena noticia es que la vacuna contra el rotavirus ya está disponible. Se administra por gotas orales a los 2, 4 y 6 meses de edad. Protege tu bebé. Visite hoy su centro de salud más cercano.
Running a business in Belize and getting an international order? Shipping your products abroad is simple with the Belize Postal Service. To quickly confirm the order, you can fill out your customs declaration right from the comfort of your home. To access the declaration form online, please visit the following websites. Simply enter your item in the CDS web kiosk to instantly see the landed cost, duties, taxes, and fees. Postage rates can be checked on your rate sheets. Share the landed cost with your customer and finalize the sale in minutes. Once the sale is confirmed, the system generates your declaration identification number, your key to a smooth and fast drop-off. And if you don't have internet access, you can always visit any of our post offices for assistance. Bring your unsealed package and declaration ID to any Belize Postal Service location. Our clerks will verify your items, seal your package, and prepare your declaration, quick and simple. It's fast, simple, reliable. The Belize Postal Service, connecting your business to the world.
Kite flying is fun, but it can also be dangerous. Fly kites safely by following these tips. Never use wire, metallic thread, or wire-reinforced strings. You could be electrocuted. Remember, even a safely built kite can cause a power outage if it gets caught in a power line. Always use paper, plastic, or wood to build kites. Never fly kites near power lines, in the path of traffic, aircrafts, or near highways. Always fly kites with a responsible adult in open areas, in dry weather, and with clear visibility. Never attempt to remove your kite from a power line. Always call BEL at 0800-235-2273 if your kite gets caught in a power line. Belize Electricity Limited. We care about your safety.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
The Social Security Board's new whistleblower reporting system makes it easy and confidential to speak up by reporting misuse of the Social Security services and benefits, including fraud, misconduct, false claims, and more. If you know of any unethical or illegal activity relating to SSB benefits, claims, or personnel, go to ssbspeakup.integrityline.com or use our toll-free hotline 0800-SPEAK-UP, 0800-773-2587. This confidential reporting system is a way for you to report concerns or incidents privately without fear of reprisal. Your submission is confidential and anonymous. The Social Security Board is committed to providing a secure, confidential medium for whistleblowing that promotes organizational accountability and enhances public confidence in our services.
Is that all?
This is everything.
Sea una persona ocupada o atrapado en el tráfico, o que tenga una circunstancia adversa o muy exigente, la tensión se acumula y lo estresa. El estrés ataca a todos en cualquier momento, a cualquier edad. El estrés es un asesino. Es mejor estar vivo que muerto, así que visite la farmacia de Freetown para obtener opciones.
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué puedo hacer para usted hoy?
Estoy bien estresado.
Ok, tengo una pastilla que te va a ayudar, ¿ok? Que toma una de eso al día para 10 días y va a estar bien después, ¿sabes?
Ok. Farmacia Freetown, carretera 28 Freetown, donde estás mejor vivo que muerto. Farmacia Freetown, teléfono 22 32 87 6.
Our Belize City is growing because of continued investment. From rehabilitated streets to expanding neighborhoods, significant investments are improving how our city functions and how our communities live. In the last 2 years alone, more than 250 streets have been rehabilitated, representing almost $34 million invested directly in physical infrastructure that improves access and quality of life. At the same time, the city continues to expand. Developments such as the Holy Emmanuel area, also known as Gungulung, reflect increased demand for land and housing as Belize City expands in a more sustainable and resilient way. These planned developments support safer communities and long-term sustainability, contributing to rising property values across the city. Under the Town's Property Evaluation Act, property values are required to be reviewed every 5 years. The last valuation adjustment was done in 2013. This adjustment simply brings property values closer to today's market reality, while the tax rate itself remains unchanged. Let's break it down. For a vacant property valued at $25,000, we charged an annual 2% rate, which works out to a payment of $500. Under the new assessment, the property value has appreciated by 40%, making the property now worth $35,000. Therefore, the new amount to be paid will be 2% of $35,000, which works out to $700. For an occupied property valued at $25,000, we charged an annual 10% rate, which works out to $2,500. Under the new assessment, the property's value has appreciated by 18%, making the property now worth $29,500. Therefore, the new amount to be paid will be 10% of $29,500, which works out to $2,950. To support property owners, your Belize City Council is encouraging residents to take advantage of the ongoing property tax prepayment incentives. Property owners receive 15% off in January, 10% off in February, and 5% in March. And senior citizens receive a 35% discount year-round. Remember, this adjustment represents an appreciation in your property's worth, not a change in tax rates, ensuring continued investment in your city while providing valuable data for informing investors, municipal bondholders, and individual credit assessments. And we want residents to know the law provides a clear mechanism for review and appeal if needed. Those who believe their valuation does not fairly reflect their property have the right to engage the Belize City Valuation Appeals Board. Your Belize City Council remains committed to openness, accountability, and ensuring that growth is managed fairly for everyone. Your Belize City Council, always about the people.
Beautiful people of Lake Independence, you have kept me humble and grounded. You set the standard for love. Anything after are just imitation. There is nothing like Lake I love.
Love yours.
A video from Santa Cruz, Stan Creek, showing a young man fighting off a man believed to be under the influence of alcohol has gone viral. The confrontation occurred reportedly because he was allegedly pursuing the young man's 15-year-old sister, even entering the family's yard to do so. He was chased out of the property but returned later, threatening the family while hiding an object inside his shirt. The family called the police, but after they failed to arrive, the young man took matters into his own hands. We understand that he lives with his mother and 4 younger sisters. Police are now investigating. On Friday, we reported that a motorcyclist was injured in a road traffic accident near Sky Supermarket along the Philip Golson Highway in Ladyville, Belize District. He has been identified as 27-year-old Rodwell Radi Jaban. According to reports, Jaban is in critical condition and is in a coma. The initial investigation revealed that 47-year-old Tashira Wagner was driving an SUV and was turning left into the Sky parking lot when she collided with Jaban on his motorcycle while he was attempting to overtake. ASP Stacy Smith said that Wagner has been served with a notice of intended prosecution.
Police have served a notice of intended prosecution on 47-year-old Tashira Wagner as a consequence of an investigation into a road traffic accident which has resulted in the injury of 27-year-old Rodwell Jaban of Belize City. The investigation commenced on Friday, 27 March at approximately 11:45 a.m. when officers attached to the Ladyville Police Formation were advised of a collision between a motorcycle and an SUV. What the investigation has suggested so far is that both Jeban and Wagner were traveling on board their separate vehicles, namely Miss Wagner on board an SUV and Mr. Jeban on board a motorcycle in the direction of Ladyville to Belize City. It is suspected that Miss Wagner sought to make a left turn into Sky's restaurant, and at that time Mr. Jeban may have been trying to overtake. This resulted in a collision which Mr. Jeban has suffered several degrees of injuries for which he is now hospitalized in a critical condition.
Police have detained 35-year-old Sherman Rodney of Belize City following a report of robbery on Antelope Street Extension on Sunday morning after 12. A woman reported that she was held at knife point and handed over her phone, some cash, and jewelry. Police went to Rodney's residence after reviewing camera footage. Following a search, they discovered suspected crack cocaine. ASP Stacey Smith today reported that 2 others were detained in connection with the discovery of the drugs.
Police are in the process of levying a charge of robbery against Sherman Rodney, a 35-year-old Belizean of Antelope Street Extension. This impending charge follows police's investigation into a report of a robbery made by a 22-year-old female who reported that on Sunday, March 29, 2026, at approximately 12:05 a.m., she was walking on Antelope Street Extension when she was robbed by a male person who brandished a knife and demanded that she handed over phone, cash, and jewelry that were in her possession. The male person, before making good his escape, is reported to have kicked the female. An investigation was launched, which included a review of the police cameras located in that area where useful information was obtained. As a consequence of this, some 4 hours after the incident, police executed a search warrant at a property on Antelope Street Extension. This search resulted in the discovery of several items that are believed to be the property of the female. As a consequence of this, Mr. Rodney was informed of the reason of his arrest, namely robbery. Also emanating from that search was the discovery of 8.9 grams of suspected crack cocaine. As a consequence of this, Rodney, along with 2 others, namely Jennar Stewart, 26 years old, and Vincent Tillett, 24 years old, were jointly charged for the offense of possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply to another.
In other news, the governments of Belize and Guyana on Friday signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU to strengthen their partnership in forest conservation and sustainable management. As 2 Caribbean community CARICOM mainland states with vast tropical forests, they aim to collaborate on biodiversity protection, climate change resilience, and the development of measurement, reporting, and verification MRV systems. The framework also focuses on exploring carbon market opportunities and securing climate finance to support environmental integrity. The partnership is meant to address shared regional challenges such as deforestation, illegal logging, and the increasing impacts of wildfires and climate change. To combat these issues, the 2 countries have committed to engage in joint initiatives, technical knowledge exchanges, and the promotion of sustainable livelihoods for local and indigenous communities. Implementation will be managed through national focal points and a potential technical working group. And with that, we've come to the end of our newscast. The repeat can be viewed on this station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. And join us again tomorrow for another edition of the news. And remember, you can always catch up with the day's top stories on our YouTube channel and Facebook page under XTV Belize, and you can watch the evening news live on our XTV BHNI app. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.